The Tangiwai disaster, scratched in the archives of New Zealand's history, was a ruinous event that unfolded with devastating consequences on the evening of December 24, 1953. While the exact cause of the disaster can be traced back to the eruption of Mount Ruapehu earlier that day, its true origins lie in the intricate interplay of geological forces and human oversight. The scene is set in the picturesque countryside of the central North Island of New Zealand, where the majestic Wangehu River winds through rugged terrain, flanked by lush forests and rolling hills. Tragic events would strike here near the small town of Tangiwai on that fateful Christmas Eve. On December 24, 1953, the Wellington to Auckland overnight express train, known as the Christmas Eve Express, was en route to its destination, carrying passengers eager to spend the holiday season with their loved ones. Among the passengers were families, friends, and travelers from all walks of life, their hearts filled with anticipation and joy as they embarked on their journey. The majestic volcano, a towering sentinel in the central North Island of New Zealand, was at the heart of the calamity. On that fateful Christmas Eve, the peaceful facade of the mountain was shattered by a violent eruption, sending plumes of ash and debris billowing into the sky. But it was not just the explosive fury of the volcano that would wreak havoc on the unsuspecting populace below. As the volcano unleashed its fury, a deadly lahar, a torrential flow of volcanic ash, rock and water, hurtled down the mountain slopes with unstoppable force. In its path lay the unsuspecting river, a reposeful waterway snaking through the mountainous landscape. Like a relentless force of nature, the lahar surged toward the river, its destructive power unleashed upon anything in its path. Along its journey, it encountered the concrete supports of the railway bridge spanning the river, a critical lifeline for the Wellington to Auckland overnight express train. Unbeknownst to the train's passengers and crew, the lahar had swept away the concrete supports of the railway bridge spanning the river, leaving the structure perilously unstable and eroding its stability. As the train approached the ill-fated bridge, disaster loomed large on the horizon, its ominous shadow casting a pall over the festive season. And then, in a moment of sheer terror, disaster struck with unfathomable force. The weakened bridge buckled beneath the weight of the locomotive and carriages, sending them hurtling into the icy waters below. The sound of twisted metal and shattered dreams rang out through the night, a haunting echo of the tragedy unfolding. Among the injuries suffered by passengers were the telltale signs of trauma, the jagged lacerations and deep contusions that defaced their bodies, akin to macabre tattoos inflicted by the violent impact and chaos of the derailment. Broken bones protruded through torn garments and flesh, a horrific reminder of the forces unleashed upon the unsuspecting travelers. As survivors struggled to free themselves from the twisted metal and debris, many found themselves immersed in the frigid waters of the river, their bodies subjected to the numbing embrace of hypothermia. The icy currents threatened to steal away their warmth and vitality, leaving them vulnerable to the relentless grip of the elements. Amid the chaos, the apparition of drowning loomed significantly as passengers fought against the relentless tide and struggled to keep their heads above water. For some, the battle against the currents proved futile, and they succumbed to the icy depths, their final moments marked by desperation and dejection. The frigid waters of the river posed a significant risk of hypothermia for survivors and injured passengers immersed in the icy currents. Exposure to cold water for prolonged periods can lead to a rapid loss of body heat and hypothermia, exacerbating the severity of injuries and impairing the body's ability to survive. Yet amidst the carnage and despair, stories of heroism and resilience emerged, tales of ordinary people performing extraordinary acts of courage and compassion in the face of unimaginable distress. From railway workers and emergency responders to nearby residents, brave souls risked their own lives to aid the injured and stranded, offering a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. Despite their heroic efforts, the toll of the disaster was staggering. Of the approximately 285 passengers and crew aboard the Christmas Eve Express, 151 lost their lives in the tragedy, making it one of New Zealand's deadliest railway accidents in history. The loss of life was compounded by the fact that many of the victims were women and children, adding an extra layer of sorrow to an already heart-wrenching event. While historical accounts provide a glimpse into the injuries suffered by passengers during the disaster, the true extent of the physical and emotional toll inflicted by the tragedy may never be fully comprehended. As the dust settled and the waters receded in the aftermath of the disaster, the actual cost of the disaster became painfully clear. Lives lost, families torn apart, and a nation plunged into mourning, all borne witness to the immense power of nature and the delicate design of human existence. Could the disaster have been avoided? In theory, enhanced monitoring and early warning systems may have provided advance notice of the volcanic activity and the potential for a lahar, allowing authorities to take preemptive measures to safeguard the railway bridge and reroute train traffic from the affected area. However, the technology and scientific understanding necessary to implement such measures effectively were likely lacking in 1953. While it's tempting to speculate about what could have been done differently to prevent the disaster, it's essential to approach such reflections with humility and empathy, recognizing the challenges those involved face and the limitations of their knowledge and resources. Ultimately, the tragedy serves as a sobering reminder of the need for ongoing vigilance, readiness, and resilience in the face of natural disasters and other unforeseen events.